welcome to another deep dive. It looks like we're taking a journey into the science of aging this time.
Yeah, really fascinating topic. And you've sent over a ton of research on it. Everything from like the cellular biology of aging to, lifestyle interventions, even some really futuristic stuff on gene editing and things like that.
It seems like you really want to get the full picture of what aging is all about, how it works, and what we can maybe do about it.
Exactly.
So where should we start? What's the foundation of all this?
Well, a lot of the research you sent over focuses on the fundamental mechanisms of aging. And one of the key concepts there is something called cellular senescence.
Cellular senescence, huh?
Yeah. Basically, it's what happens when our cells get damaged and they kind of stop functioning as well. They stop dividing and sort of wear out.
Oh, so it's like they hit their expiration date.
Yeah, you could think of it that way.
I see.
And one of the big factors that contributes to that is the shortening of telomeres.
Okay, telomeres. Those sound familiar.
Yeah, you've probably heard of them. Think of them as like the protective caps on the ends of our chromosomes.
Okay.
Every time a cell divides, these telomeres get a little bit shorter. And eventually they get so short that the cell just can't divide anymore.
So it's kind of like a countdown timer for our cells.
In a way, yeah. It's not a perfect analogy, but it gives you the general idea. The interesting thing is, and you've included research on this, is that this countdown isn't completely fixed. There are things that can affect the rate at which those telomeres shorten.
Oh, okay. So you're saying it's not all just doom and gloom. We actually have some control over how fast we age.
Absolutely.
That's really encouraging to hear. So where do those lifestyle interventions that you mentioned come in? What can we actually do to slow down this process?
Well, you've sent over a lot of information on this. There's research on different diets, for example, that have been linked to longevity. One that stands out is the Okinawan diet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard of that one.
Right. And it's not just any diet. They eat very specific types of sweet potatoes that are high in antioxidants and certain varieties of seaweed that are packed with nutrients. It's not just any sweet potatoes and any seaweed. It's very specific things.
So it highlights how the quality of our food, maybe even more so than just the quantity, makes a difference.
Exactly. And it also emphasizes, the importance of food traditions that have been passed down through generations.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And then there's also, the practice from Okinawa, hara-hachi-bu.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that too. Eating until you're 80% full.
Exactly. It's a really great example of mindful eating.
Yeah.
Which is something that you see a lot in cultures with long lifespans.
Makes sense.
Then you've got, things like the DASA method.
DASA method, yeah.
Which is a more, structured approach to slowing down aging.
And what does that involve?
It's basically a combination of calorie restriction, intermittent fasting, and a diet rich in antioxidants.
Okay, so let's break those down. Calorie restriction, that sounds pretty straightforward. But what about intermittent fasting? Is that just, skipping meals?
Not exactly. It's more about having specific cycles of eating and not eating.
Oh.
Right? So there are different ways to do it. Like the 168 method is popular, where you fast for 16 hours a day and then eat within an 8-hour window.
Interesting. And the research suggests that has actual benefits.
It seems to, yeah. There's growing evidence that it can be beneficial for weight management and even things like improving insulin sensitivity.
That's fascinating how these seemingly simple tweaks to our lifestyle can actually impact our biology in such profound ways. But let's not forget exercise, right? You sent a ton of studies on that.
Absolutely. Exercise is crucial for healthy aging.
It's not just about running marathons or anything extreme, right?
Right. You've included research on the benefits of different types of activity. Aerobic exercise is great for your heart and lungs. Strength training can help counteract the muscle and bone loss that tends to happen as we age. And then things like flexibility exercises, like yoga, can improve joint health and even help manage stress.
So it really is about finding what works for you and just making it a regular part of your life. And it sounds like variety is important too.
Exactly. It's about creating a sustainable routine, not just sporadic bursts of intense activity. And speaking of routines, let's talk about sleep.
Yeah, good sleep. I know I definitely feel the effects when I don't get enough of it.
Right. And it's not just how you feel. Chronic sleep deprivation can actually accelerate the aging process.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it increases your risk of all sorts of diseases.
So how much sleep should we be aiming for?
Most adults need around 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep per night. But, it really does vary from person to person. The key is to listen to your body.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And you've included some great tips for improving sleep hygiene in the materials you sent. Things like sticking to a regular sleep schedule, creating a relaxing bedtime routine, making sure your bedroom is dark and quiet.
So it's about creating the right environment for restful sleep.
Exactly. Think of sleep as like the time when your body gets to do all of its essential maintenance work.
So good sleep is like hitting the reset button for our bodies.
Yeah, you could think of it that way.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. But we can't forget about hormones, right? They play a big role in how we age as well.
Absolutely. And you've specifically highlighted research on testosterone, which tends to decline as men age.
Right.
And this decline can affect everything from energy levels and muscle mass to libido and even cognitive function.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about testosterone replacement therapy these days.
Yeah, TRT is becoming increasingly popular. And the research you send over delves into both the potential benefits and the risks.
So it sounds like it's not a decision to be made lightly.
Exactly. TRT is a little magic bullet.
Right.
And it's really important to weigh the pros and cons carefully with a healthcare provider who understands your individual situation. And, it's also important to remember that testosterone is just one piece of the hormonal puzzle.
Right. Of course.
You've also included some information on growth hormone, IGF-1, and DHEA, all of which play roles in aging.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's a complex system. But understanding how these hormones change as we age can give us insights into, potential interventions to support healthy aging.
So hormones are a powerful force that we need to understand better if we really want to age well. But let's switch gears a little bit and talk about, the more futuristic stuff that you mentioned earlier. You've included some mind-blowing material on telomere therapy and gene editing.
Yeah, this is where things get really interesting. Telomere therapy is essentially, the goal is to manipulate those protective caps on our chromosomes, those telomeres we were talking about. And the idea is that, by manipulating those, you could potentially slow down or even reverse cellular aging. And then there's gene editing with tools like CRISPR, which could actually allow us to target specific genes that are associated with age-related diseases.
These technologies sound incredible, like something out of a science fiction novel. But I imagine there are, a lot of ethical considerations to think about too.
Absolutely. These are powerful technologies, and they raise a lot of complex questions about, what it means to manipulate the very fabric of life. You've included some really thought-provoking articles in the research that explore these issues in depth.
It's almost like a philosophical question, isn't it? If we could significantly extend human lifespan, what would that mean for our societies, our economies, even our personal relationship? Would it change how we view life and death?
Those are questions that we're going to have to grapple with as these technologies continue to advance.
It's not just about living longer. It's about, living well and making sure that those extra years are actually filled with quality and purpose.
Exactly.
Which brings us back to the importance of all these foundational lifestyle factors that we were talking about earlier, right? Even with all the technological advancements, a healthy lifestyle is still crucial.
Absolutely. No matter how advanced science gets, you can't ignore the basics: a balanced diet, regular exercise, stress management, quality sleep. These are the cornerstones of healthy aging.
So it's like building a strong foundation for a house.
Exactly.
Okay, I like that analogy.
Mm-hmm.
So let's dig a little deeper into the role of nutrition in aging. I'm really intrigued by the idea of, the longevity diet that you mentioned.
Yeah. So when we talk about the longevity diet, it's not really one specific diet. It's more of an umbrella term that covers different eating patterns that seem to promote longevity. And one of the common threads you'll see in a lot of these approaches is the idea of calorie restriction.
Okay, calorie restriction. I remember reading about some pretty fascinating studies on calorie restriction in animals. And it seems to extend their lifespan in many cases. But I'm curious, about its effects on humans. Is it safe? Is it effective?
Yeah, that's a great question. And the research on humans is still ongoing, so it's really important to approach calorie restriction with caution. It's something you should definitely discuss with your doctor or a registered dietitian before trying it out.
That makes sense.
But, a related concept that's gaining a lot of popularity is intermittent fasting, which we talked about a little earlier.
Okay.
And the book, Aging, Science, Solutions, and the Future, which you sent over, it delves into different methods of intermittent fasting,
Right.
like the 16-8 method that we were talking about, and it explores the potential benefits in detail.
Right.
It's definitely worth checking out if you're interested in learning more about that.
I'm also curious about some of the specific nutrients that you highlighted. You mentioned vitamin D, magnesium, and resveratrol. What makes these so important for aging?
Well, each one plays a different role. Vitamin D is really crucial for bone health. It helps with immune function and even mood regulation. And then magnesium is involved in literally hundreds of processes in the body.
Wow.
Everything from muscle function and blood sugar control to nerve function. And then you've got resveratrol, which is found in things like red wine and grapes. It's gotten a lot of attention for its potential effects on cellular health and longevity.
Wait, so does that mean my nightly glass of red wine is contributing to my longevity?
Well, not quite. The research on resveratrol is still pretty preliminary, and the amount that you get in wine is relatively small.
Okay.
But it does highlight how specific nutrients can play a role in the aging process.
That makes sense. It's about the bigger picture.
Yeah.
Not just relying on any single magic ingredient.
Exactly. And speaking of the bigger picture, let's talk about exercise.
Yes, exercise. Always important. So we know that regular physical activity can help us combat age-related decline, but can you get into specifics? Like what type of exercise is best?
Well, you've sent over some fantastic research on this, showcasing how exercise benefits virtually every system in the body, from our cardiovascular system to our immune system and even our brain. It's really remarkable.
Yeah, it's not just about living longer. It's about, maintaining our physical function and independence as we age.
Exactly. You don't want to be limited in what you can do as you get older.
Absolutely.
And the book does a great job of explaining the benefits of different types of exercise. Aerobic exercise strengthens your heart and lungs. Strength training helps to maintain muscle mass and bone density. And then you've got flexibility exercises like yoga, which can keep you limber and agile.
So, yet again, variety seems to be key.
Yes, it is. And remember, consistency is key.
Okay.
It's much better to engage in moderate exercise regularly than to just sporadically go all out and risk injury or burnout.
I think that's good advice for a lot of areas of life, not just exercise. So let's switch gears again and talk about sleep.
Yes, sleep.
Your sources, especially the book, really emphasize its crucial role in healthy aging. I know I've definitely felt the effects of a bad night's sleep, but what's happening on a deeper level? What's going on in our bodies when we don't get enough rest?
Well, you can think of sleep as your body's time to repair and recharge.
Okay.
It's when your cells regenerate, your muscles rebuild, your brain consolidates memories, and regulates hormones.
It sounds like a pretty busy time for the body.
It is. And when you're chronically sleep deprived, it throws a wrench into all of those essential processes. It can accelerate aging and increase your risk of all sorts of diseases.
Wow, so prioritizing sleep is essentially an investment in our future health. I need to remind myself of that the next time I'm tempted to stay up late.
Absolutely. It's a wise investment. And, the book also provides some excellent tips on good sleep hygiene, such as maintaining a regular sleep schedule, creating a relaxing bedtime routine, ensuring your bedroom is dark, quiet, and cool, really setting yourself up for success.
Those are all great reminders. Now, let's delve into something I find truly fascinating, the mind-body connection. You've included research suggesting our thoughts, beliefs, and emotions can impact our physical well-being. I know I've definitely experienced how stress, for example, can manifest physically. A stressful day can leave me feeling exhausted, tense, and even achy.
Exactly. And your sources back that up. Chronic stress can wreak havoc on our bodies, affecting everything from our hormonal balance to our immune function.
Wow.
It can shorten those telomeres we were talking about and contribute to inflammation throughout the body, essentially accelerating the aging process.
So managing stress isn't just about feeling better mentally, it's about protecting our physical health as well.
Exactly. And that's where those stress-reducing techniques like mindfulness, meditation, yoga, deep breathing, all those things come in. The book explores those practices in detail
Oh, good.
and gives some really practical tips for incorporating them into your daily life.
I'll have to check that out. It's encouraging to know that we actually have tools to combat stress and protect ourselves from its damaging effects. But it's not just about mitigating the negative stuff, right? You've also included research on the power of positive emotions, like how things like gratitude and joy can actually play a role in longevity.
Yes, this is where the field of positive psychology comes in. There's a growing body of evidence suggesting that cultivating those positive emotions like gratitude, joy, love, even a sense of purpose, can actually contribute to a longer and healthier life.
That's fascinating. So our mindset and outlook on life can actually influence how we age.
It seems so. The book delves into some really fascinating research on how purpose in life and strong social connections are linked to longevity.
So it's not just about the length of your life, but about the quality of your experiences.
Exactly.
That's really inspiring. It makes you want to cultivate those positive emotions and really nurture those meaningful relationships in your life.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about the gut microbiome, which you described earlier as this internal ecosystem.
Yeah.
What's its connection to aging?
Right. So the gut microbiome, it's this complex community of trillions of bacteria that live in our digestive tract.
Brilliant.
And as we age, the composition of this community can shift, which can impact our overall health in a lot of different ways.
Okay, so maintaining a healthy gut becomes even more crucial as we get older.
Absolutely. A balanced gut microbiome is essential for proper digestion and nutrient absorption, immune function, even brain health.
Wow.
And all of those functions can become more vulnerable as we age.
That makes sense.
The book actually provides some great tips for nurturing your gut microbiome as you get older.
Oh, great. I'm all ears. What can we do to keep those good gut bacteria happy and thriving?
Well, a diet rich in fiber is crucial
Okay, if I forget.
because it provides food for those beneficial bacteria.
That makes sense.
Also, incorporating fermented foods like yogurt, sauerkraut, kimchi, things like that can be helpful.
Yeah, I love those.
And then you might also consider probiotics and prebiotics.
Right. Probiotics are the good bacteria themselves, and prebiotics are the food that helps those good bacteria thrive.
Exactly. It's all about creating that balance and diversity in your gut.
It's like creating a flourishing garden in your gut.
I like that analogy.
Speaking of flourishing, let's revisit those incredible energy producers within our cells that we touched upon earlier, the mitochondria. You mentioned how they're impacted by oxidative stress.
Right. And, you described oxidative stress as a sort of wear and tear on our cells, which is a good way to think about it.
All right.
It's a natural process, but it can definitely speed up aging and contribute to various diseases.
And protecting our mitochondria becomes even more crucial as we age.
Absolutely. And luckily, there are some really effective strategies for doing that. The book highlights the importance of a diet rich in antioxidants.
Right. Antioxidants, those fight those harmful molecules, right?
Exactly. And you can find antioxidants in colorful fruits and vegetables and spices.
So eating the rainbow is beneficial on multiple levels.
You got it. And exercise is important too. Regular physical activity has been shown to actually boost mitochondrial function, improve antioxidant defenses, and reduce inflammation.
It seems like exercise really is a recurring theme when it comes to healthy aging.
It is. And it makes sense when you think about it. When we move our bodies, we're stimulating our cells, improving circulation, and supporting all sorts of bodily function.
Well, I'm convinced exercise is key. Now, let's move on to another fascinating cellular process highlighted in the book, autophagy.
Ah, yes. Autophagy.
I've heard the term before, but to be honest, I'm not entirely sure what it entails.
So autophagy is essentially your body's internal recycling system.
Okay.
It's the process by which cells break down and reuse damaged or dysfunctional components.
Oh, that's interesting. So it's like our cells have their own built-in cleanup crew.
You could say that. And this cleanup process is crucial for maintaining cellular health, especially as we age. When autophagy is working efficiently, it helps to prevent the accumulation of cellular debris and promotes cellular renewal.
That sounds pretty important. So does autophagy decline as we get older?
Unfortunately, yes, it does tend to decline with age.
Oh, that's too bad.
But the good news is there are things we can do to support it.
Oh, good. I'm curious. What are some of those things? How can we boost autophagy?
Well, some of the strategies we've already talked about, like calorie restriction, intermittent fasting, and exercise, have been shown to stimulate autophagy.
Interesting. It's amazing how these lifestyle factors can actually impact our cellular processes at such a fundamental level.
It is pretty amazing. And it really highlights how interconnected everything is. Our physical health, our mental health, our lifestyle choices, it all ties together.
Now, I remember reading about another group of proteins that seemed to play a role in aging, sirtuin. What can you tell me about them?
Oh, yeah. Sirtuins are fascinating. They're like cellular regulators. They influence a whole bunch of different processes, including DNA repair, metabolism, and inflammation.
Wow, they sound pretty important.
They are, and research suggests that they might actually play a role in longevity.
Okay.
So they're kind of like the guardians of our cells, helping them to stay healthy and functional for as long as possible.
That's a good way to put it. So are there things we can do to boost the activity of sirtuin?
Well, there are compounds that can activate sirtuins, and those compounds are found naturally in some foods and are also available in supplement form.
Oh, okay. I'm curious. What are some of those compounds?
One you've already heard of, resveratrol.
Oh.
Remember the one found in red wine and grapes?
Yes, of
Well,
course.
that's one of them.
Yeah.
And then there's also NAD plus ADERA, which is a coenzyme that's involved in a ton of metabolic processes.
So by increasing our intake of these compounds, we might be able to support sirtuin activity and promote healthy aging.
That's the idea. The research is still ongoing, but it's a promising area of study.
It's really incredible to think that we might one day have, medications or therapies that could slow down or even reverse the aging process.
I know, it's mind-boggling. But for now, the best thing we can do is focus on those lifestyle factors that we know have a positive impact.
Right, the things we've been talking about: diet, exercise, sleep, stress management.
Exactly. And Don't underestimate the power of a positive mindset.
That's a good point.
A sense of purpose, strong social connections, all of those things contribute to overall well-being, which is essential for healthy aging.
This has been an incredible overview, but I have a feeling we've only just scratched the surface of the complex world of aging.
We have, definitely. But I think we've laid a good foundation for further exploration.
Absolutely. So where do we go from here?
Well, in part 2, we can dive deeper into some of the specific strategies and interventions that you've sent over.
Okay, sounds good.
We can explore things like different types of exercise, stress management techniques, specific dietary recommendations.
I'm looking forward to it. This deep dive is already giving me a lot to think about.
It's a fascinating topic for sure. And the more we learn about it, the more empowered we become to make choices that support our health and longevity.
I couldn't agree more.
You mentioned wanting to get the full picture of aging, and one resource you sent over that really stands out is the book Aging, Science, Solutions, and the Future. It really delves into some of these concepts in a lot more depth.
Yeah, that book looks fascinating. I'm especially interested in the sections on those cutting-edge technologies we were talking about, like the telomere therapy and gene editing.
Yeah, those are really pushing the boundaries of what we thought was possible.
The idea that we might actually be able to, manipulate our genes to slow down or even reverse aging is just mind-boggling.
It really is. And the book does a great job of explaining how these technologies work, the potential they hold for extending both lifespan and health span. But as you mentioned before, there are some pretty significant ethical and societal implications to consider as well.
It's almost like a philosophical question, isn't it?
Yeah.
If we could significantly extend human lifespan, what would that mean for our societies, for our economy, even for our personal relationships? Would it change how we view life and death? I mean, it's a lot to think about.
It is. It's a lot to unpack. And those are questions that we're going to have to grapple with as these technologies continue to advance.
Yeah, it's not just about living longer. It's about living well, right?
Right.
And making sure that those extra years are actually filled with quality and purpose.
Exactly.
Which brings us back to the importance of those, foundational lifestyle factors that we were discussing earlier. The healthy lifestyle is still crucial, even with all these technological advancements on the horizon.
Absolutely. You can't just rely on technology to solve everything. Right. No matter how advanced science gets, you can't ignore the basics.
Okay, so let's talk about those basics a little bit more.
Yeah.
What are some of the key things that people can do to, set themselves up for success when it comes to healthy aging?
Well, the book really hammers home the point that, a balanced diet, regular exercise, stress management, quality sleep. Those are the cornerstones.
Those are the non-negotiables.
Exactly. They're really the foundation for everything else.
Okay, so let's dig a little deeper into nutrition then. You mentioned the concept of a longevity diet earlier.
Right.
Can you elaborate on that a bit more?
Sure. So when we talk about a longevity diet, it's not one specific diet. It's more of an umbrella term.
Right.
That covers different eating patterns that seem to, promote longevity, promote healthy aging.
Okay.
And one of the common threads that you'll see in a lot of these approaches is the idea of calorie restriction.
Right, calorie restriction. We talked about that a little bit earlier. I remember reading about those studies in animals where restricting calories seem to extend their lifespans quite significantly.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, is it safe for humans?
Mm-hmm.
Is it effective? I mean, what's the deal with calorie restriction for people?
Yeah, that's a great question. And the research on humans is still ongoing.
Okay.
So it's definitely something that you would want to approach with caution.
Right.
And it's something that you should absolutely discuss with your doctor or a registered dietitian before, trying to implement it on your own.
That makes sense.
But, a related concept that's gaining a lot of popularity is intermittent fasting, which we talked about a little earlier.
Right, where you cycle between periods of eating and not eating.
Exactly. And the book actually delves into different methods of intermittent fasting.
Oh, good.
Like the 16-8 method that we were talking about, and explores the potential benefits in detail.
Okay, I'll check that out.
Yeah, it's definitely worth taking a look at if you're curious about it.
I'm also curious about some of the specific nutrients that were highlighted in the book and that you mentioned earlier, like vitamin D, magnesium, and resveratrol.
Yeah.
What makes them so important for aging?
Well, each one kind of plays a unique role.
Okay.
Vitamin D is crucial for bone health. It helps with immune function, even mood regulation.
Right.
And then magnesium. Magnesium is involved in literally hundreds of processes in the body.
Wow, a real multitasker.
Yeah, it does it all. From muscle function and blood sugar control to nerve function, you name it, magnesium is probably involved in it.
Important stuff.
Yeah, really important. And then you've got resveratrol, which is found in things like red wine and grapes. It's gotten a lot of attention for its potential effects on cellular health and longevity.
Wait, so does that mean my nightly glass of red wine is actually contributing to my longevity?
Well, not quite. I hate to burst your bubble, but
Yeah.
the research on resveratrol is still pretty preliminary. And the amount that you get in a glass of wine is, relatively small.
Right.
But it does highlight how certain nutrients can play a role in the aging process.
Yeah. And I guess it's a good reminder that it's really about the bigger picture, right?
Right.
It's not about relying on any one single magic ingredient or magic bullet.
Exactly. It's about a holistic approach.
Okay.
And speaking of a holistic approach, let's talk about exercise.
Okay, yes, exercise.
Yeah.
We touched on that a bit earlier, but can we go a little deep? Like, what type of exercise is best for aging well? How much should we be doing? What are the specifics?
Sure. You've sent over some really fantastic research that showcases how regular physical activity can help to combat that age-related decline we were talking about.
Yeah.
And exercise, it benefits virtually every system in our body.
Really, every system.
Pretty much, from the cardiovascular system to the immune system, even our brain. It's pretty remarkable.
Wow.
And, it's not just about living longer. It's about maintaining our physical function and independence as we age.
Right, we don't want to be limited in what we can do as we get older.
Exactly. And the book goes into detail about the different benefits of different types of exercise.
Right.
Like aerobic exercise strengthens your heart and lungs. Strength training helps to maintain muscle mass and bone density. And then things like flexibility exercises, like yoga can help to keep you limber and agile.
So variety is key here again.
Variety is key, yes.
Yeah.
And remember, consistency is really important.
Okay.
It's much better to engage in moderate exercise regularly than to just sporadically go all out and then risk injury or burnout. You want to find a sustainable routine that you can stick with long term.
That makes sense. So let's switch gears again and talk about sleep.
Okay, sleep.
Your sources, especially that book, really emphasize how crucial good sleep is for healthy aging. I know I definitely feel the effects when I haven't slept well, but what's happening on a deeper level? Like what's actually going on in our bodies when we're sleep deprived?
Well, you can think of sleep as your body's time to, repair and recharge. It's when your cells regenerate, your muscles rebuild, your brain consolidates memories and regulates hormones.
Sounds like our bodies are pretty busy when we're sleeping.
Yeah, they are. They're working hard, even when we're not conscious of it. And when you're chronically sleep deprived, it throws a wrench in all of those essential processes.
Right.
It can accelerate aging and increase your risk of all sorts of health problems.
Wow. So prioritizing sleep is essentially an investment in our future health.
It really is. It's one of the best things you can do for yourself.
I need to remind myself of that.
It's a good reminder for all of us. And the book also provides some great tips for improving sleep hygiene, such as maintaining a regular sleep schedule, creating a relaxing bedtime routine, making sure your bedroom is dark and quiet and cool. All those things that we know we should be doing, but sometimes don't actually do.
Right. Those are great reminders. Sometimes we need to hear those things again and again before they really sink in.
Exactly.
So let's delve into an area that I find really fascinating, the mind-body connection.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
You've included some research suggesting that, our thoughts, our beliefs, our emotions can actually impact our physical well-being. And I know for me, I definitely experience that with stress. Like if I have a really stressful day, it manifests physically. I feel exhausted. I feel tense, sometimes even achy. It's like my body is carrying the weight of that stress.
Exactly. And, your sources really support that.
Yeah.
Chronic stress, it can wreak havoc on our body.
Oh.
It affects everything from our hormonal balance to our immune function.
Okay.
It can even shorten those telomeres that we were talking about and contribute to inflammation throughout the body, which essentially accelerates the aging process.
So managing stress isn't just about feeling better mentally.
No, it's not.
It's really about protecting our physical health as well.
Absolutely. And that's where all those stress-reducing techniques come in.
Right.
Things like mindfulness, meditation, yoga, deep breathing, all that good stuff. The book actually explores those practices in a lot of detail.
Oh, great.
And it gives you some really practical tips for incorporating them into your daily life.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, definitely check it out. It's really helpful. And it's encouraging to know that, we're not powerless against stress.
Right. We have tools that we can use to manage it and to protect ourselves from its damaging effects.
Absolutely.
But it's not just about mitigating the negative stuff, right?
Right.
You've also included some research on the power of positive emotions and how things like gratitude and joy can actually play a role in longevity.
Yes. This is where the field of positive psychology comes in, which is a really fascinating area of study. There's a growing body of evidence that suggests cultivating positive emotions like gratitude, joy, love, compassion, a sense of purpose, all of those things can contribute to a longer and healthier life.
So our mindset and outlook on life can actually influence how we age.
It really seems that way. The book delves into some fascinating research that shows how purpose in life and strong social connections are linked to longevity.
So it's not just about the length of your life, but about the quality of your experience.
Exactly. And it's never too late to start cultivating those positive emotions and nurturing those meaningful relationships in your life.
That's inspiring.
Now, let's talk about the gut microbiome.
Okay, yes, the gut microbiome. You described it earlier as this internal ecosystem. I'm curious to learn more about its connection to aging.
Right. So the gut microbiome is this complex community of trillions of bacteria that live in our digestive tract.
Brilliant. That's just incredible to think about.
I know, it's mind-boggling. And as we age, the composition of this community can shift, which can impact our overall health in a lot of ways.
So maintaining a healthy gut becomes even more crucial as we get older.
Absolutely. A balanced gut microbiome is essential for proper digestion, nutrient absorption, immune function, even brain health.
Wow.
And all of those functions can become a bit more vulnerable as we age.
Okay, that makes sense. So what can we do to nurture our gut microbiome as we get older?
Well, the book has some great tips for that. A diet rich in fiber is crucial because it provides food for those beneficial bacteria.
Fiber, got it.
And incorporating fermented foods like yogurt, sauerkraut, kimchi, all those delicious things can also be helpful.
Oh yeah, I love those.
Me too. And then you might also consider taking probiotics or
Right. Probiotics are the good bacteria themselves, and prebiotics are the food that helps those good bacteria to thrive.
You got it. It's all about creating that balance and diversity in your gut.
It's like creating a flourishing garden, but in your gut this time.
I love that analogy.
Speaking of flourishing, let's revisit those incredible energy producers in our cells that we were talking about, the mitochondria. You were saying how they're impacted by oxidative stress.
Right. And, you described oxidative stress as a sort of wear and tear on our cells,
Right.
which is a really good way to think about it. It's a natural process, but it can definitely speed up aging and contribute to various diseases.
So protecting our mitochondria is something that becomes even more important as we age.
Absolutely. And luckily, there are some really effective strategies for doing that.
Okay, good. I'm all ears.
The book highlights the importance of a diet rich in antioxidants because those can neutralize the harmful molecules that contribute to oxidative stress.
Antioxidants. They're like the superheroes of the cellular world.
They really are, and you can find them in lots of delicious foods like colorful fruits and vegetables, spices, things like that.
So eating the rainbow is beneficial on multiple levels. It's good for our overall health, and it helps to protect our mitochondria. Win-win.
You got it. And exercise is important too.
Of course, exercise. It always comes back to exercise.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Regular physical activity has actually been shown to boost mitochondrial function, improve those antioxidant defenses we were talking about, and even reduce inflammation.
Okay, so it seems like exercise is just a good all-around strategy for healthy aging.
It really is. And it makes sense when you think about it, right? When we move our bodies, we're stimulating our cells, improving circulation, and supporting all sorts of bodily functions.
It's like we're giving our bodies a tune-up.
Exactly.
Now let's move on to another fascinating cellular process that's highlighted in the book. This one's called autophagy.
Ah, yes, autophagy.
I've heard the term before, but I'll be honest, I'm not really sure what it is or what it entails. Can you break it down for me?
Sure. So autophagy is essentially your body's internal recycling system.
No.
It's the process by which cells break down and reuse damaged or dysfunctional components.
Interesting. So it's like our cells have their own built-in cleanup crew.
Exactly. They're constantly cleaning house and getting rid of all the junk. And this cleanup process is crucial for maintaining cellular health, especially as we age.
Okay.
When autophagy is working efficiently, it helps to prevent the accumulation of cellular debris and promotes cellular renewal.
That sounds like a pretty important process.
It is.
So does it decline as we age?
Unfortunately, it does tend to decline with age.
Oh, that's too bad.
But the good news is there are things we can do to support it.
Oh, good. I was hoping you were going to say that. So
Yeah.
what are some of those things? How can we give ourselves a little extra help with this autophagy process?
Well, some of the strategies that we've already talked about, like calorie restriction, intermittent fasting, and exercise, they've all been shown to stimulate autophagy.
Oh, wow. So those are like triple threats then.
They really are. They have so many benefits for overall health and longevity.
It's amazing how these lifestyle factors can impact our cellular processes at such a fundamental level.
It is amazing. And, it really highlights how interconnected everything is. Our physical health, our mental health, our lifestyle choices, it all ties together.
Now, I remember reading about another group of proteins that seems to play a role in aging. Sirtuin.
Ah, yes, sirtuins.
What can you tell me about them?
Well, sirtuins are fascinating. They're like cellular regulators. They influence a whole bunch of processes, including DNA repair, metabolism, and inflammation. And research suggests that they might actually play a role in longevity.
Wow, they sound pretty important. So are they like the guardians of our cells, helping them to stay healthy and functional for as long as possible?
That's a great way to put it.
So is there anything we can do to, boost the activity of sirtuin?
There are compounds that can activate sirtuins, and some of those are found naturally in foods.
Okay.
And others are available in supplement form.
Oh, okay. So what are some of those compounds? I'm curious.
Well, one you've already heard of, resveratrol.
Ah, resveratrol.
Remember, the one found in red wine and grapes.
Yes, of course.
One of them. And then there's also NAD plus C, which is a coenzyme that's involved in a ton of metabolic processes.
So by increasing our intake of these compounds, we might be able to support sirtuin activity and promote healthy aging.
That's the idea. The research is still ongoing, but it's a really promising area of study.
It's incredible to think that we might one day have, medications or therapies that could actually slow down or even reverse the aging process.
I know, it's mind-boggling.
But for now, it seems like the best thing we can do is really focus on those lifestyle factors that we know have a positive impact.
Exactly.
Like the things we've been talking about: diet, exercise, sleep, stress management.
Those are the big ones?
Right.
Yeah.
And don't underestimate the power of a positive mindset.
That's so true.
A sense of purpose, strong social connection. All of those things can really contribute to overall well-being, which is essential for healthy aging.
Couldn't agree more.
Now, let's shift gears a bit and talk about the brain. I mean, a healthy body isn't much good without a healthy mind, right? So I'm curious to learn more about how our brains age, what we can do to maintain cognitive function as we get older.
Yeah, that's a great point. The brain is like any other organ. It undergoes changes as we age, but it also has a remarkable capacity for adaptation and renewal.
Well, that's good to hear. So it's not just this inevitable decline. We can actually do things to protect our brain.
Absolutely. While some age-related changes are unavoidable, there's a lot we can do to support brain health and maintain cognitive vitality.
Okay, I'm all ears. What are some effective strategies for keeping our brains sharp as we age?
Well, the book emphasizes the importance of mental stimulation.
Yeah.
Things like learning new things, engaging in challenging activities, staying socially connected. All of those things can help to maintain cognitive function.
So it's kind of like exercise, but for the brain.
Exactly. And just like physical exercise, mental exercise needs to be regular and challenging to be effective.
That makes sense. So it's about staying curious and engaged throughout life.
Exactly. And, just as with physical health, diet and exercise play a role in brain health as well.
Right, of course.
Yeah.
So tell me more about that. What kind of diet is best for brain health?
Well, a balanced diet that's rich in fruits, vegetables, and healthy fats is really important.
Okay, makes sense.
It provides the brain with the nutrients it needs to function optimally. And exercise, as we've already discussed, it benefits not just our bodies, but our brains as well.
So what we do for our bodies, we do for our minds as well. It's all connected.
Exactly. It's all interconnected. And the book actually delves into some specific nutrients that are particularly important for brain health.
Oh, okay. Like what?
One example is omega-3 fatty acids, which you can find in oily fish and flax seeds.
Right. I've heard those are good for brain health. What about, brain training programs?
Ah, yes. Brain training.
I've seen a lot of apps and games out there that claim to improve cognitive function. Do they actually work?
Well, the research in brain training is still evolving.
Okay.
Some studies have shown promising results, but it's important to approach these programs with a healthy dose of
Right.
Not all brain training programs are created equal. Some are definitely more effective than others, so it's important to do your research.
Yeah, and look for programs that are actually backed by, scientific evidence.
Exact. And it's also important to remember that brain training is just one piece of the puzzle.
Right.
A holistic approach to brain health really involves a healthy diet, regular exercise, stress management, and, engaging in those mentally stimulating activities that we were talking about.
Right. It's about addressing all aspects of our well-being.
Exactly.
Now, let's shift gears a bit and talk about a topic that can be, a little bit challenging to discuss. Dementia. You've included some really important information about dementia and its impact on aging.
Yes, it's a topic that a lot of people are concerned about, and understandably so.
It's a devastating disease.
Yeah.
And you can really impact, not just the individual who's affected, but their entire family and support system.
Absolutely. Dementia is a general term for a decline in cognitive function that interferes with daily life.
Okay.
And Alzheimer's disease is the most common type of dementia.
Right. Alzheimer's. I know it's a progressive disease, but can you explain a little bit more about, what's actually happening in the brain?
Sure. So Alzheimer's disease is characterized by the buildup of abnormal proteins protein deposits in the brain.
Yeah.
And these deposits, they lead to the destruction of brain cells and a decline in cognitive function.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And this can manifest as memory loss, confusion, difficulty with language, changes in mood and behavior. It's really a multifaceted disease.
Sounds incredibly challenging for both the individuals affected and their loved ones. Are there any, treatments or cures available?
So unfortunately, there's currently no cure for Alzheimer's disease.
Oh, that's so sad.
It is. But there are medications that can help to manage the symptoms and potentially slow the progression of the disease.
Okay. And are there any lifestyle factors that might help to reduce the risk of developing dementia?
Yes, there's actually growing evidence that a healthy lifestyle can play a role in reducing the risk.
So those same strategies that we've been talking about for healthy aging, a balanced diet, regular exercise, stress management, mental stimulation, those can also help to protect our brains.
Exactly. It really reinforces the importance of a holistic approach to health throughout life.
It's amazing how interconnected everything is.
It is.
Now, I'm curious to learn more about some of those cutting-edge technologies that are being developed to combat aging. We touched on them a bit earlier, but I'd love to hear more about what's on the horizon.
Yeah, it's an exciting time to be alive, that's for sure.
It is. It seems like science fiction is becoming reality these days.
It really does. We're seeing incredible advancements in areas like stem cell therapies, gene editing, and novel pharmaceutical intervention.
I've heard about stem cell therapies. Can you explain a little bit more about how they might be used to combat aging?
Sure. So stem cells are essentially the body's master cells.
Okay.
They have the potential to develop into different cell types.
Oh, wow.
So stem cell therapies aim to, utilize that potential to replace damaged or dysfunctional cells in the body.
So theoretically, we could replace our worn-out cells with healthy new ones.
That's the idea. And the applications for aging are vast. Imagine being able to replace damaged heart cells, repair spinal cord injuries, or even regenerate brain tissue.
It sounds almost too good to be true. What about gene editing? You mentioned that a bit earlier as well.
Yeah, gene editing with tools like CRISPR is another really promising area of research.
Can you remind me how gene editing works? I know it's about manipulating genes, but I'm a little fuzzy on the details.
Sure. So essentially, gene editing allows us to precisely target and modify specific genes within our DNA.
So we could potentially, edit out genes that contribute to aging or disease.
That's the goal. The possibilities are really mind-blowing, but it's crucial to proceed with caution and to really consider the ethical implications of this technology.
Right. I imagine there are a lot of ethical questions swirling around gene editing. I mean, we're talking about manipulating the very blueprint of life here.
We are. And that's not something to be taken lightly. We need to carefully consider the potential consequences, both intended and unintended. It's a powerful tool, and we need to make sure we're using it responsibly.
I couldn't agree more. It seems like with these advanced technologies, we're really entering uncharted territory.
We are, and it's essential to have open and honest conversations about the ethical and societal implications of these powerful tools.
Absolutely. So besides stem cell therapies and gene editing, what other advancements are on the horizon? You mentioned novel pharmaceutical interventions as well.
Yes. Researchers are developing new drugs that actually aim to target the underlying mechanisms of aging at a cellular level.
So instead of just treating the symptoms of age-related diseases, these drugs would actually address the root causes of aging itself.
That's the hope. There are some really exciting developments in this area, with drugs being tested that target specific pathways involved in things like cellular senescence, inflammation, and oxidative stress.
It's incredible to think that we might one day have medications that could actually slow down or even reverse the aging process. It seems like we're on the verge of a real paradigm shift in how we approach aging.
It really does feel that way. And it highlights the importance of staying informed and engaged with these advancements as they continue to unfold.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm definitely feeling a renewed sense of curiosity about the future of aging.
That's great. It's an exciting time to be alive, with so much potential to unlock the secrets of longevity and enhance the quality of our later years. It's really inspiring to think about shifting that narrative, from aging as decline to aging as continued growth and contribution. But how do we actually make that shift happen? Is it more about individual mindset, or does it require broader societal changes?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, it seems like it would have to be both, right?
It probably is a bit of both. We need to, challenge our own internalized beliefs about aging and embrace the idea that getting older can actually be a time of, immense personal growth and fulfillment. But we also need to advocate for those systemic changes that can create a more age-friendly society.
What kind of changes are we talking about?
Things like, accessible transportation,
Yeah.
affordable housing, healthcare systems that are really designed to cater to the unique needs of older adults, and, creating more opportunities for intergenerational connection, and learning.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Imagine a world where older adults are seen as, valuable assets to their communities rather than burden.
That's a really powerful vision. It seems like, we need to kind of reframe our entire understanding of aging, both individually and collectively.
We do.
But that's a big task. Where do we even begin?
Well, I think you can start by, just questioning the assumptions that you hold about aging.
Yeah.
Challenge those stereotypes that you encounter. Engage in conversations with people from different generations. Educate yourself about the realities of aging, both the challenges and the opportunities.
Yeah, those are great practical steps about being proactive, right? And changing the conversation around aging. But I'm also curious about, the role of technology in all of this. Can technology help us to age better? Or does it kind of risk exacerbating some of the challenges that we've talked about?
Well, technology is definitely a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
On the one hand, it can empower us to live healthier, more connected, more fulfilling lives as we age.
Right.
Think of things like telemedicine.
Yeah, that's a great example.
Wearable health trackers,
Yeah.
social media platforms that allow people to connect across generations. Those are all, potentially really beneficial things.
They are. But what about the potential downsides?
Well, one of the biggest concerns is the digital divide.
Right.
Older adults who lack access to technology or the skills to use it effectively, they can become isolated and marginal.
Yeah, that's a point.
And then there's also the risk of, ageism being amplified online, where older adults are stereotyped or, just not given the same respect and opportunities as younger people.
So it's really about using technology thoughtfully,
Right.
And making sure that it's actually serving to enhance our lives rather than diminish them.
Exactly. We need to be mindful of the potential pitfalls while also, embracing the opportunities. And that actually brings us back to one of the key takeaways from all the sources that you've shared. Aging is not a one-size-fits-all experience.
Yeah, that's so important to remember. We've talked about so many different factors that influence how we age, from genetics and lifestyle to mindset and even societal structure.
Right. And there's no single right way to age.
Right.
What works for one person might not work for another. So it's really about, finding what feels right for you, what aligns with your values and your goals, and allows you to live a life of meaning and purpose.
That's a really empowering message.
Yeah.
It means we actually have some agency, right? We can shape our own aging journey.
Exactly. And that's what makes this whole exploration of aging so fascinating. It's not about, finding a magic bullet or a fountain of youth. It's about understanding the complexities and embracing the possibilities.
And speaking of possibilities, you mentioned earlier, there was a really provocative thought from the sources I shared. What if, instead of trying to stop or reverse aging, we focused on maximizing what's called our health span?
Yeah, that's a really interesting idea. It's a paradigm shift that's gaining traction in the field of aging research.
Okay.
Instead of obsessing over lifespan, the sheer number of years that we live, what if we prioritized health span?
Okay.
The number of years that we live in good health, free from chronic disease and disability.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, who wants to live a long life if those extra years are filled with suffering and decline?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
It's about compressing morbidity. So, squeezing that period of ill health and decline into as short a time as possible. Imagine living a long, vibrant life, enjoying physical and cognitive vitality well into your later years, and then experiencing, a relatively short period of decline before passing away peacefully.
That sounds like a pretty ideal scenario.
It does, doesn't it?
And it seems like a lot of the things that we've already discussed actually contribute to maximizing health span.
They do.
Things like a healthy diet, regular exercise, stress management, mental stimulation, strong social connection. It's all connected.
It is. You're absolutely right. It's about making choices that support our well-being throughout life, not just in our later years. And it's also about recognizing that, health span isn't just about physical health. It's about mental, emotional, and social well-being, too.
It's that holistic approach again.
Exactly. It's a holistic approach that encompasses all aspects of our lives.
Okay, well, this deep dive has been incredibly insightful. I feel like I've gained a whole new understanding of aging, not just as this biological process, but as this really complex interplay of factors that we can actually influence and shape.
That's great to hear. And that's really the beauty of it. Aging is not something to be feared or dreaded. It's a natural part of life that offers so many opportunities for growth, learning, and transformation.
I completely agree. And we've only just scratched the surface here, but I feel really empowered, to continue exploring these topics and making choices that support my own healthy aging journey.
That's wonderful. And remember, all the research that you sent over that book, it's a treasure trove of information and inspiration.
It is.
So continue to research, to learn, to experiment, and to find what works best for you on your own unique aging journey.
That's great advice. And for those of you listening who are interested in diving deeper into the science of aging, be sure to check out Aging, Science, Solutions, and the Future, on Amazon Kindle and Google Play Books.
Yeah, it's a great resource.
It's a really comprehensive and thought-provoking book that will definitely expand your understanding of this fascinating field. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of aging. Until next time, stay curious, stay engaged,